From the Gene Policini Center on the campus of the Rochester Institute of Technology, we welcome you to RIT SportsZone's coverage of Tiger hockey. It's a big night here on campus as the 2010 Tiger team, they're back in town to mark the 10th anniversary of their remarkable run to the Frozen Four in Detroit. While on the ice, the current Tigers returned to conference play on the road last night. Tonight, they'll wrap up their home-and-home series with Canisius. Good evening, I'm Kevin Roach, and welcome to RIT SportsZone Pregame Live. Well, since the calendar flipped to 2020, the Tigers have just one win in 6 games. Last night, they traveled to Harbor Center to face a Canisius team that has been on fire in the new year. Unbeaten in their last 8, the Griffs had picked up 19 conference points heading into Friday night, while jumping from 11th place to 7th in Atlantic hockey. Let's show you what happened at Harbor Center last night. First period, Tigers shorthanded, but Alden Dupuis, what an effort here, forcing the turnover behind the net and scoring his second shorty of the season. It was 1-1. Later in the period, RIT penalty expires, and Reagan Seiferling out of the box gets the feed from Dupuis. In all alone for the goal. 2-1 RIT after 1. The Tigers scored 3 times in the second with goals from Elijah Gonzalez and Chris McKay right there. Jake Joffe also scored. They led by 2 after 2. Canisius, they would get away from him in the third as the Tigers would get goals from Colton Trumbla and Sean Cameron. And RIT took game 1 last night by a final of 7-4. As we take a look inside the numbers following RIT's victory, the Tigers 7 different goal scorers, including Sean Cameron, who now leads the team with 12 on the season. Alden Dupuis tied a program record with his 5th shorthanded goal of his career. The junior is now tied with Simone Lambert for the most by a Tiger in the Division I era. And how about Jake Joffe? 6 goals now this season on 12 shots. Keep shooting them, and they're going to go in. So a much-needed victory for RIT as they return to conference play. With more on last night and a preview of tonight's rematch, our John DiTullio standing by live now with RIT head coach Wayne Wilson. Johnny?
All right, Kevin, thanks so much. 7 different goal scorers last night. What'd you like from your team's effort in your victory over Canisius?
I liked a lot. I think just the fact that we had 7 different goal scorers talks about our balance again that we've talked about, I think, all year long. We don't really have that one go-to line, but Sean's leading our team in goals, so that bodes well for him, and he got another one last night. But good balance last night. Really just the last 2 minutes of the second period, and really our 5th penalty. We talk about that, it seems, every week, but those are the only 2 things that I wasn't happy with. So that's not a whole lot. It's not a pretty short list, which is good.
As Kevin mentioned, Canisius has been playing well. You've been at a conference play the last 2 weeks, so here's a team that was rolling, but you put forth a great effort. What do you want to see tonight then? Yeah,
last night was a good road effort in particular. I like to just see us, be ready to compete real hard here, because the team that tends to lose the first night is a little bit more on edge the second night, and we've got to match that work ethic here tonight and really fight hard for the last 3 points of our series as we wrap up our 4 games and win the series, I guess. So we've got a lot at stake still in front of us, and we've got to work hard for it.
It's a magical night. You honor the team that really put this program on the map in terms of on a national scale. Great seeing the guys talk about reflecting, and what do you reflect upon 10 years later? By the way, you haven't aged much at all, partner.
Oh, thank you. But no, just so many positives. I mean, there's so much that they accomplished throughout their 4 years, but that year was a magical year, and the rink that we're standing in is probably mainly due to those guys, and obviously our administration as well. But just that they put the thought in the heads of the higher ups, and really put Atlantic hockey too. We've had a lot of success as a league after that, and really built a great foundation for our program in Division I hockey. So we owe a lot to them, and a lot of great memories, and really good to see the guys, their families, and their kids, and everything else that comes with it now as they've all gotten older gracefully.
Yeah, they're grown men at this point. But, sir, you haven't aged a bit, my man. Good seeing. That's head coach Wayne Wilson of the RIT Tigers as they honor their Frozen Four team from 10 years ago. For a preview of Canisius, let's send it over to my broadcasting partner, Gene Battaglia. Gino?
All right, thanks, Johnny. Trevor Large back here at RIT. My gosh, we're getting to know each other here. 4th meeting here this month. How are you? What happened last night? How did that game get away from you, Coach?
Yeah, long time no see. it felt like everything that RIT threw at the net last night went in. We've been playing some really solid defensive hockey lately, and last night we were just a little loose. So we got to clean up some details and get better.
Well, you guys, since we last saw you, you've gone on a point streak, including the 2 games against RIT, 8 in a row. What was going right for your team? What do you have to get back to get that point streak going again?
Yeah, there's a lot about defense that's involved in that. We felt like the recipe was, everything was going well for us in the 8 games. If we got down, we were able to climb back in. Tight games, we were getting it done at the end. The power play was really clicking. Barcheski and net was elite, and last night we didn't have either one of those going, so we look to respond tonight.
Any key to getting 1 win on the road? You have just 1 to date so far.
It's tough. It's tough on the road. Teams are at home. They're comfortable. Everybody wants to defend home court, so to speak, and it's doing the things that we need to do to win. It's maybe a little bit tougher on the road, but our young guys are gaining experience there. I like that. I like the future for what that holds for us, and hopefully we play a better game tonight.
Coach, you've been in this conference for a while, and tonight we're celebrating the 10-year anniversary of the Tigers Frozen 4 team. 10 years ago, I looked this up, you were at Army back then as an assistant. So what did it do for the conference having a team finally get to that mark?
I mean, it was unbelievable, to be honest. The Atlantic Hockey at the time, we were the team that was going into the NCAA tournament was doing well. We were getting wins, some pretty big upsets from playing some #1 teams in the country at the time, and then RIT was able to get to the Frozen Four. We hadn't done that yet, so they were the first to do that, and everybody around the league was cheering them on like crazy. That was a great team, lots of great pieces. Our league has been telling that story, and obviously we want more, and I know they do too.
RIT Canisius, these games are always fun. Coach, thanks for your time. Good luck tonight.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Head coach Trevor Large. As Kevin, we send it back to you.
All right, Gene, we'll check back with you in just a bit. Thank you so much. Well, after playing the last 2 weeks out of conference, the Tigers entered the weekend with some work to do after falling behind the league leaders in the Atlantic Hockey standings. As we take a look, Sacred Heart currently sitting on top of the league with 13 wins and 40 points. They've been impressive. AIC and Army both currently playing and hoping to move up into a tie with wins after 3 points last night. RIT sole possession of 6th place. Top 5 earned first-round byes in the Atlantic Hockey postseason tournament, which comes up just around the corner. March is coming soon. Well, still to come on the program, the RIT women's hockey team wrapped up its weekend series with Mercyhurst this afternoon. Highlights are coming your way. Plus, it's hard to believe it's already been 10 years. Coming up, we'll look back on the Tigers' road to the 2010 Frozen Four. But first, number 10 for RIT is Kobe Walker. The sophomore from Lloydminster, Alberta, has 2 goals in his last 3 games. He'll join the program live next as our coverage of Tiger hockey continues. From the Gene Policini Center, it's RIT and Canisius at 7:05. This is RIT Sports Zone, pregame live. Oh, it brings back chills, doesn't it? Just a tremendous season for a team that started the year 0-5. The 2010 Tigers got hot late, winning 13 of their final 15 games as they reached the school's first Frozen Four. What a season. Elsewhere in Atlantic hockey today, Niagara has just beaten Army in overtime 3-2. The final, Bentley over Mercyhurst 7-4. AIC and Robert Morris headed to the third, knotted at 1, while Air Force, Holy Cross, and Yale taking on Sacred Heart in a non-conference game. They get underway within the hour, just like us. Meanwhile, in the net for RIT tonight will be number 30, Logan Drackett. The junior netminder finished with 32 stops last night against Canisius, recording his 8th 30-plus save game of the year. However, interesting to note, Drackett has given up 25 goals in his last 5 games and has won just once during that span, coming last night at Harbor Center. As for Canisius head coach Trevor Large, with start number 30, Jacob Barczewski for the 10th straight game. Barczewski gave up 5 of the Tigers' 7 goals last night, raising his goals against average to 2.92 on the season. RIT has now scored 7 goals in a game 3 times this season. They'll look to stay hot here tonight and complete the sweep of Canisius. With more on that, our Kim Coffey standing by live now with sophomore forward Kobe Walker. Good evening, Kim.
Hey, Kevin. Kobe, you guys are coming off a 7-4 win last night. 7 different goal scorers throughout the game. What's going to be the key to keeping that offensive momentum going tonight?
Honestly, we just can't beat ourselves. I thought the last couple games that we've lost, we've been turning over the puck in the wrong areas of the ice, and that's been costing us. So just by doing our own thing, getting pucks in, pucks out, and obviously scoring more goals than they do.
Speaking of scoring more goals than they do, Canisius still had 4 on you last night. What do you have to do to prevent some of those opportunities, especially when it comes to penalties?
Like I said, just our mental breakdowns. Just got to fix those up, and obviously they have a good power play, so just stay with the box. Take like 1 or 2 penalties. That's all we can really take against them.
10th anniversary of the Frozen 4 team here tonight. Any added pressure knowing those guys are watching you tonight? And did you get to meet any of them before you guys got on the ice?
I talked to 1 or 2 of them before the game, but that's not really pressure. It's more just we're happy we're honoring them tonight. They had a really good run there, so just happy they're here, and hopefully we can put on a show for them.
Kobe, thanks so much. Good luck tonight.
Thanks a lot.
Kevin, back to you.
All right, Kim, we're all looking forward to a show here tonight. Well, after winning a season-high 5 straight games, the RIT women's hockey team has now lost 4 in a row heading into this afternoon. They wrapped up their series against first place Mercyhurst, and we had the highlights. The Lakers tied for first in the CHA with Robert Morris, and they went right to work in the first period. Just over 3 minutes in, Sarah Nellis in front takes the feed and scores. It was 1-0 Lakers, and then not even 7 minutes into this one, Nellis came calling again. Take another look, deflecting it in for her 2nd goal of the game. Mercyhurst sweeps the 4-game season series with RIT as the Tigers lose their 5th straight by a final of 5-1. College basketball today in Liberty League action. The RIT women's team beat Clarkson 67-53 as Sabrina Wolf led the Tigers with 22 points. As for the men, they won as well, 90-85 as 4 Tigers scored in double figures this afternoon. Well, back in the March issue of 2010 magazine, ESPN published an article that posed 2 interesting questions. First, who had RIT advancing to the Frozen Four? And second, how many of you even knew RIT played Division I hockey? Well, certainly more know now than they did back then, because what the 2010 team accomplished was simply remarkable. In just their 5th season of Division I hockey, these Tigers turned the college hockey world upside down, taking us all on a magical ride to the Motor City.
The Tigers begin the season in front of the largest home crowd in RIT's history. 7,421 fans filled the stands of the Blue Cross Arena on Brick City weekend.
Burt winding up, the shot, and time's going to run out on the Tigers.
It's definitely frustrating, leaves a bitter taste in our mouths that we should have buried the puck and should have won. But hopefully over time we figure out how to put that puck in the back of the net.
I think in order to win something, it's a lot of effort, a lot of hard work, and our players realize that, and they do that. They work very, very hard for everything they've achieved, and I know that if they don't, then they're probably going to lose the game.
Go! Hulky, stay right on him! Win the period, no penalties, get everyone involved here and be strong on the finisher. Let's go now, let's finish the job.
There's an opportunity. Babbitt walking in. Great defensive play by Sellers from behind a poke check and one away. Goal! Goal! Maisie! Maisie! The Tigers are the regular season champions of Atlantic hockey.
Fantastic. Today, the left wing won the game in overtime. How did you feel about that?
Oh, you know, relieving. I had a couple chances in the 3rd there I should have buried, but I didn't get it done, so to get her done at home in front of the home crowd and from a packed house is pretty special.
Our RIT Tigers took center stage for the first time ever in the Atlantic Hockey Finals. All that stood in their way of the conference championship were the familiar faces of the Sacred Heart Pioneers.
5 seconds to go. Celebrate RIT, celebrate Rochester, New York. The Tigers, for the first time, are
heard the place in here after we won, it was pretty loud, and everyone's real excited. So, you know, a lot of people, you know, they know that we're on the map, and we know that we're a good team, but hopefully we can make some more noise in the tournament.
Kept in that point. Chris Tanev comes in. Tanev shot. Score! Away, Stephen Maddock. Maddock entering the zone. Backhands in front. Slapped up by Murphy. No. Rebound. Score! Stephen Maddock. The Cinderella story of the tournament so far. The Rochester Institute of Technology out of Rochester, New York. They're going dancing to the Frozen Four in Detroit.
Great turnout, never expected this. I'm at a loss for words.
We don't think about underdog, overdog. I mean, you can call us Snoop Dogg. We really could care less.
RIT taking on Wisconsin. Now we're racing the other way. Bendixson again in, drags it, and it gets deflected and scores! Badgers just trying to run it out as they send it around the boards. Congratulations, Wisconsin.
I think it put RIT in the spotlight, and I'm very, very proud of our year and of our team, and this game will not diminish any of it.
Man, what a ride to look back at the 2010 run to the Frozen Four. Well, still to come on Pregame Live, John and Gene will rejoin us to tell us who they're keeping an eye on here tonight between the Tigers and Griffs. Plus, we'll be joined by the Most Outstanding Player Award winner from the 2010 East Regional in Albany, the goaltender who stopped 63 of 66 shots he faced to help get those Tigers to Detroit. Jared DeMichael joins Pregame Live next as we continue our trip down memory lane on the home of Tigers hockey. This is RIT SportsZone Pregame Live. Jared DeMichael, a big part of the Tigers' run to the Frozen Four in 2010. RIT won a Division I program best 28 games that season. Tigers the only team in college hockey to win their conference's regular season and tournament championships as well, and they proved once you're in the big dance, you got a chance. The 15th overall seed knocking off second-ranked Denver and 12th-ranked New Hampshire to reach the Frozen Four, where the magical run eventually came to an end in the national semifinals against Wisconsin. As we welcome you back inside the Gene Policini Center, the house the 2010 Tiger team helped build. You're watching RIT SportsZone Pregame Live, presented by Taylor the Builders. Joined now by a familiar face to longtime Tiger fans, the goaltender of the 2010 team that reached the Frozen Four, also the winner of the Division III Women's National Championship here as an assistant coach at RIT, and now a successful assistant at UMass, Jared DeMichael. Welcome to Pregame Live. We appreciate it.
Great to be here. Great to be here.
Well, I know as we turn our attention to this game here tonight, you have a game in New Hampshire with UMass. You had to be here, didn't you, though? Nothing was going to prevent you from being back with this team.
No, I was getting the gears from Coach Wilson and some of my former RIT teammates. I talked to my boss earlier this week. He was awesome about it. I'll be able to piggyback it with some recruiting and whatnot, but I'll be following our game pretty closely on my phone.
Oh, I can imagine you will. You're very competitive, as always. Now, the team that year in 2010 lost only 2 games in the final 3 months of the season. You lost to Wisconsin the last game, and then you lost to Sacred Heart back in February. 13 of 15 down the stretch, you won. When did you start to realize that, hey, this team's onto something special?
Yeah, I mean, I'd probably say a little bit before Christmas. Like, we had a pretty good winning streak the first half of the season before we got to Mankato. But I think guys were buying into different roles, different positions, and just the way we gelled off the ice. We had really good vibes socially, in the classroom, guys' girlfriends hanging out, things like that. I think it really built up from our time there. We had a really good season the year before. We were unhappy with how it ended, maybe left a little bitter taste in our mouth. And obviously, we didn't have a great start to the 2009-2010 season, but those losses kind of think helped us lean to figure out the things that we need to clear up, and then we obviously had a pretty good run from there.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you win the AHA title, you get to the NCAA tournament for the first time in Division I school history, and everyone mostly thinking, hey, great, happy to be there. But that wasn't good enough for you guys, was it?
No, I mean, it's maybe not the best way to phrase it, but we were greedy. We liked winning. We didn't like losing. It was my girlfriend at the time, my wife now, Kara. Yeah. She knew after games that we lost, we weren't really talking. And it wasn't because I didn't love her, but we really, really liked winning, and that's how we wanted to handle things. And I think you can see that from the regular season championship and then the postseason. We had a job that we wanted to get done, and we took care of it.
Now, RIT has won a Division II, Division III national championship, and obviously your team holds a very special place in history here. Do you realize the impact you've had on this program from what you guys accomplished?
No, I mean, I don't think I totally realize it. I mean, seeing the turnout tonight, like when I heard there was going to be an audio session, I was a little worried nobody's going to be showing up. Like, who wants to see these schlubs? But the turnout was unbelievable. I mean, there's 20-plus guys that are here. Yeah. So, I mean, our RIT going here as a student athlete, knew it was a real special place, but then when you come back, like, you're still part of the family, and very, very proud to be an RIT alum.
Well, Jared, thank you so much for joining us. Best of luck the rest of the way with UMass. And hey, you never know, RIT makes the NCAA tournament. Maybe we'll see you down the road.
We'll see what happens.
And I don't think it's a coincidence that this year, East Regionals in Albany, Frozen 4 is back in Detroit. Maybe we'll see you there.
Hope to see you there.
Best of luck. Appreciate your time as always.
Thank you.
Take care. Well, as we turn our attention from Jared back to tonight's game, we welcome in Gene Battaglia and John DiTullio. And guys, there's a buzz in this building here tonight. And most importantly, the current Tigers have a chance to capture a big 6-point weekend against Canisius. Good evening.
Good evening, Kevin. Hey, Jared. My gosh, it's fun to see a lot of friends here
tonight. He was incredible. Yeah. He had a .921 save percentage. He took that team on its back. Great wins over Denver and New Hampshire. Because of him, they went to the Final Four. One of the reasons why they went to the Frozen Four.
Like Kevin said, a chance for a 6-point weekend tonight. And Canisius' fourth game that the Tigers in January have played. Certainly familiar with this team. Certainly familiar with the line that Matt Hoover is playing with.
That Hoover line has been incredible. They got a goal last night by Matt Hoover. Also, you had a goal from Nick Hutchinson. It's one of the top lines, not only in the conference, but in the country. But to beat Canisius, you've got to try to slow down number 72 in that top line. They're dynamic.
And for the RIT Tigers tonight, it's good to have Alden Dupuis back in the lineup. A shorthanded goal last night that he sends up Brubaker on another break.
Unbelievable work. He steals the puck from behind the net and then able to finish. It's just amazing when you think of the fact that he has 5 shorthanded goals in his career. He's a special player, especially when he's on the PK or the power play. He's a great player, great two-way player.
So, John, a big night, big crowd. You want to finish this with a win. What has to happen?
And it starts what they did last night, really what they've been doing all year. You need the balancing act. 7 different goal scorers. In fact, 17 players have scored at least 1 goal. 23 have at least 1 point. Special effects, now the good, the bad, and the ugly. Last night they get a power play and they get a shorthanded goal. But let's face it, Tigers have allowed a power play goal in 9 of the last 10 games. Opponents are 11-50 over that span. And let's party like it is 2010. Feed off the fact that the reason you're playing in this building is because of the 20 or so odd gentlemen that are here. Play hard for that Frozen 4 team tonight. You do all that, you'll get 3 points.
Kevin, it's going to be a lot of fun. Face-off 7:05. We're looking forward to it.
Oh, it's been a fun night so far. We are looking forward to it as well, guys. Thanks so much. We'll see you in just a bit. We are closing in on game time here at the Gene Policini Center. We'll wrap things up from here next. You're watching RIT Sports Zone Pregame Live. Back here on Pregame Live with the storied history of the RIT men's hockey program, always on display in the Policini Center atrium. Tonight, fans getting a closer look at the hardware the 2010 team captured en route to the Frozen Four. Hey, just a reminder that we won't be with you again until Valentine's Day. What better way to spend Valentine's Day than with us The Tigers taking on Bentley on February 14th. Our coverage kicks off with Pregame Live 6:30, followed by Face-Off at 7:05 on My 18 Rochester and FlowHockey.tv. Come hang out with us, John, Gene, Kim, and I. It'll be fun. Well, that'll do it for us on Pregame Live. Up next, John and Gene will have the call as RIT wraps up its home-and-home series with Canisius, and we'll see you back here for the intermission report. Enjoy the game. RIT SportsZone Live begins right now.